Hello readers and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all the books that I read in November. So let's start off with the books that I read for school. And as you probably already know or are going to know, I have a class that is Introduction to Shakespeare. So I read a lot, 3 Shakespeare plays for this class this month, and with these plays and with the books that I read in school, I don't normally give them ratings, so I'm just going to tell you guys what the plays I read. So I read Henry V, or Henry V by William Shakespeare. I read Richard III by William Shakespeare, and I read As You Like It by William Shakespeare. I like this class, it's just that I don't like Shakespeare, but you know, these plays weren't that bad. So now on to this section, which is all the books that I read for myself, I guess, that I didn't have to read for school, and what I actually rated. A change from my normal rating system, or not rating system, but my normal way I like to film these wrap-ups. I am going to be putting the Goodreads average rating up here in the corner, as well as to compare it to my rating, because I find that really fun and interesting to see what I rated a book compared to the average rating for it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm doing that from here on out. So okay, so the first book that I read this month is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series, so I'm not going to be talking what it's about, but I did give it a 3 out of 5, which, for those who do not know, my rating system is 1 star, I like it, 2 stars, it's okay, 1 star, I hated it, 2 stars, it was okay, 3 stars, I liked it, 4 stars, I really liked it, and 5 stars, I loved it. Okay, so 3, I liked it. I liked the ending of this story and the story in general. I didn't really like that most of the book was pretty boring and pretty slow paced, because it follows 2 of the side characters instead of Selena. Yeah, and in the last book we were left off on a cliffhanger, and I would have liked to follow through with that, but alas, we haven't done that. Okay, and then I also didn't like it because I feel like in these books, everybody has a relationship, to these people, to the side characters, that's their happy ending, is that they're in a relationship, which I don't really like. I feel like that's kind of dumb, but you know, I digress. So yeah, this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty hefty book, as you can see. It has 600 pages in it. No, it's 660 pages in it. So it's pretty hefty. This series is pretty hefty and long. But so the next book that I read was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I reread this book. This is a reread for me. I read it first in 2015 or 2016, I can't remember. And I remember thoroughly enjoying it, and it was so lovely, and one of my favorites. And then this year, this month I decided to reread it, and it's still pretty lovely. Surprising, because usually when I reread books that I liked as a teenager, I didn't end up liking them anymore. But yeah. So this book, if you don't know, it's about this girl who is, like, she's a freshman in college, and it just takes place in her whole college semester, whole freshman college year. It's more of like a coming of age story. But I did really enjoy it, and yeah. There's a romance in it, and it's just really, really lovely. Also, the main girl, Kath, is a fangirl, and she writes fan fiction. And one of her fan fiction is really popular, so yeah. I liked the story and the writing, and the relationship between Kath and, what was his name? Levi, right? I read so many books this month, I don't even know. Yeah, Levi, okay. And, you know, I used to like this book because it was so relatable, because I was a fangirl. But now rereading it, and I'm still kind of a fangirl, but not really necessarily like Kath, where she writes fan fiction anymore. I still enjoyed it, and I did find it a little bit relatable still. I hated, when I first read this, I felt like it was very slow-paced and just really slow and boring. But upon rereading it, I don't understand why I thought it was slow. Like, what the heck? It's not even that slow. Like, it's not slow-paced. It's perfect pacing. Yeah. But other than that, I did enjoy this book, and I highly recommend it. Okay, next book that I read is probably something that's kind of entertaining, and it's Gordon Ramsay's Roasting in Hell's Kitchen, Temper Tantrums, F-Words, and the Pursuit of Perfection. This is Gordon Ramsay's memoir, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, I enjoyed it. I liked the story and everything in this book. Very entertaining. I hated the way it was written, because it's very jumpy. But then again, he's not an author, or he's not a writer, he's a chef. So I wouldn't expect his book to be like that, like, well written, I guess. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed this book as well. It was pretty funny. It was nice. If you want to learn more about Gordon Ramsay, then I highly recommend it. Next book is from an indie author, I would say. It is A Girl Called Monster by Paige Lavoie. I first got into Paige Lavoie because of her style, because I love the 1950s look, and she has that style. And then I found out that she was an author, and I wanted to, you know, buy her books. So I bought both of them, and I read this one. This is a reread for me as well, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, actually. And yeah, this is really a great story. So this story is a Frankenstein retelling, but make it YA, where Frankenstein's monster is actually a girl, and like a young girl at that, and yeah, it's really good. I love Frankenstein. As you can tell, I have a cute little pop figure of him that sits on my shelf, and honestly, like, that was my first classic I've ever read, and I freaking love it, and I love this book. I liked the story, the writing, the characters, and I love the world in this story. I I didn't really like, at first when I read this book, I didn't like the time jumps. And upon rereading it, I still don't really like that, but, you know, I get why it's in there. It's mainly in the last chapter, and it's less noticeable now that I reread this book, but other than that, like, it didn't, like, the time jumps didn't take away from the story. It's just in the end, it's, like, kind of, like, felt a little rushed, so, yeah, but, you know, it's still really great, and I highly recommend it. Last book that I read this month is probably a surprise, and that is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This is, I believe, actually my third Stephen King book that I've ever read. I call it my second, but I always forget that I read Road Rage, which is the comic book. So I read Night Shift and Road Rage, and now Pet Sematary. And this is my first, like, full-length novel. Excuse me. This is my first full-length novel that I read of Stephen King. And yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. And let me explain. The reason for this is because the rating 2 out of 5 stars is because, like, the ending half, well, the first half was very, very, very slow, and I do not really necessarily like slow-paced books. It wasn't as scary as I was expecting, and it describes, like, Stephen King describes everything in this book, like, and it just, that makes it even more slow and boring. But yeah. What I did like about this book was the ending half, and I liked some spooks in here. It was good. Although not good enough to get a 3 out of 5 for me. It's a 2 out of 5. And I forgot to give a summary. So what is this book about even? It's about a family who moves to a small town, and there's a pet cemetery in their backyard, and like, behind the pet cemetery is a place where it's like an Indian burial ground, and whenever you bury like a deceased, like, cat or something, whenever you bury a deceased, like, dead thing in there, it rises back up and is living. So yeah, it resurrects. So yeah, that's pretty much what this is about. I'm sorry, I accidentally called Native American or natives, indigenous people, indigenous burial ground Indian. It just slipped up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to call this set of people, this group, natives or indigenous instead of Indians like I was taught to in school. So I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, yeah. 2 out of 5 stars for me. Didn't necessarily like it. Yeah. That was all the books that I read this month. I read a total of 8 books. Which is a lot for me. Not necessarily my highest. I believe my highest was either 11 or 13 books in a month, but, you know, my average is usually like 4 for every month. So, I feel like I read a lot. So, yeah, and I read a hefty book and some boring books, and yeah. So anyways, that's all that I read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and, like, got something out of it or anything. I do want to note that, I am going to be posting this on, I believe, November 30th or, December 1st, because it is my wrap-up video. But I am going to be posting another video on Thursday, which is my normal schedule, which is going to be my winter TBR. But after that, I'm not going to post until, I believe, the 13th of December, because I want to do this thing where I post a video every single day for 12 days until December 24th, which will be the last day. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because it sounds fun to me, and I just want to give into the holiday spirit. As you can tell, I got a Christmas tree brooch and Christmas trees on my shirt. So I'm really in the festive mood, and yeah, okay. I just wanted to make that clear, make a note of that, and yeah. So with that being said, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, or comment down below what you read this month, or what your favorite book that I read this month was. That'd be fun. If you like this channel or this video, you know, and you like me enough to subscribe, then you feel free to. You're not forced to. And yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.